Hey everybody, this is Join speaking again, and welcome to this little video. I recently hit over 2,400 subscribers, and I like to celebrate that by doing a video on something I didn't do sooner when this movie came out. I'm going to explain my thoughts on the movie Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. I know this movie came out in June, and this is August now, but oh well, better late than never. I guess you guys can call this a movie review, but to be honest, this is more focused on me explaining how I feel about this movie. Oh, and fun fact, I was gonna do a movie review on Jurassic World back in 2015, but I pretty much became reluctant on it because I don't know where to begin. So I'll make up for that by talking about Fallen Kingdom in this video. Oh, and before we jump into Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, I'm going to quickly go over the other 4 movies before we begin. And don't worry, I'm going to be quick. Jurassic Park. What can I say? It's a classic, it's got a perfect pace, great characters, phenomenal effects, and there's a lot of memorable moments. The Lost World Jurassic Park. I like how the movie introduces Isla Sorna and more dinosaurs. The special effects were good as always, and the pacing was a little bit slower this time, but it's not too slow in my opinion. Jurassic Park 3, it was okay. I like seeing the return of Dr. Grant and Ellie, but it's kind of disappointing that they're not together anymore. I like seeing the Spinosaurus and the Raptors. The movie still has some entertainment, but the story felt lackluster. Most of the new characters were a bit mediocre, and the Spinosaurus was portrayed poorly, in my opinion. Jurassic World. For a modern-day Jurassic Park film, this movie was actually pretty nice. It has some interesting stuff, including, hybrids, like the Indominus Rex. But again, that's the only hybrid that appeared in this movie. My bad. The characters are likable, the whole setup of the park was amazing and eye-popping at the same time, and there's also some really cool Easter eggs as well. And finally, now on to Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. In my opinion, this is the darkest movie in the whole franchise so far. I'm not saying that the movie was awful. I enjoyed the movie a lot, but golly. Out of all the movies in this series, this one had me crying the most. I cried tears of joy in Jurassic Park, but with The Lost World and Jurassic Park 3, I didn't cry at all. Not one bit. Jurassic World had me crying a few times, but my face was soaked in tears with Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. This movie promised to be dark, and it did exactly that. Watching Isla Nublar getting destroyed and dinosaurs fleeing for their lives was really depressing to watch. That island was the place where everything began, and seeing it getting destroyed, it was like seeing parts of my childhood burning away, because I was introduced to Jurassic Park when I was a little kid. And speaking of that, the scene after the escape from Nublar really got me crying the hardest, and spoiler alert, it was when a lone Brachiosaurus was seen running on a bridge, and he was crying for help as the volcanic ashes closed in on it. And to make this scene even more heartbreaking, I read that it's confirmed that the Brachiosaurus in that scene was actually the same one Dr. Grant and Ellie saw in an open field. It even lifted itself up in the air like in the original Jurassic Park movie. Yeah, that scene alone is like it's saying the final goodbye to everything that began in Jurassic Park, and it did a really good job at that, and it's hard not to get sad from that scene in my opinion. And the fact that this was the first dinosaur to be seen wandering around in Jurassic Park made this scene even more emotional. After seeing that and the mass destruction of Isla Nublar, I'm even more glad that the movie didn't kill off Rexy or Blue or both. I mean, isn't that enough suffering, people? Let's talk about some positive stuff, folks. I'm going to talk about some things I really like about this movie. I mean, there's a lot I like about the movie. I'm just gonna point out 5. Alright, number 1. I like the new dinosaurs that were added in this movie, especially the Baryonyx, and my third favorite dinosaur, the Allosaurus. And speaking of dinosaurs, I don't know why Brachiosaurus and Compsognathus were absent in the Jurassic World, but oh well. Another thing I like about this movie is how they brought back, the practical effects, or animatronics. As far as I can recall, they used animatronics for Blue, Rexy, and that poor Stegosaurus that got one of its teeth ripped off. And maybe the Indoraptor as well? I don't remember. I'm happy to see the animatronic effects come back in this movie because, the animatronics were one of the biggest highlights in the old Jurassic Park films. and they can make you feel like there's really a dinosaur up close in front of these characters. And the third thing I like about this movie is that, out of all the films in the franchise, The Fallen Kingdom has a post-credits scene, which is really cool, but I honestly wish there's more to it. But all we got is a clip of pterosaurs camping out in Las Vegas. Another thing I like about this movie is how it introduces, the idea on a sanctuary island, for the dinosaurs to live peacefully. At the same time, after seeing the villains trick the characters, it makes me think, is this island even real, or was it a trick the whole time? On top of that, there were 5 islands, in a row that's called the 5 Deaths. There's other islands besides Isla Sorna and Nublar, so yeah. And of course, the 5th thing I really like about this movie is the Indoraptor. This thing was scary in this film. I mean, Indominus Rex was scary in Jurassic World, but in my opinion, the Indoraptor is far worse. He's very fast, he's very smart, and he's very sadistic, and he can move very silently in the dark, which is a big nope for me. Also, he literally smiled when he lured Wheatley in that cage. I've never seen a dinosaur in a Jurassic Park/World film smile before, and seeing the Indoraptor do something like that was just plain creepy. Ugh. I was told that he probably had some muscles for that grin to work. And by the way, I like the theme music for the Indoraptor, in the Fallen Kingdom soundtrack. It's not only really epic, but it also has a dark and scary feeling to it. It's like the music is saying, this is no joke, this thing will kill everyone. I remember when I was watching the scene where the Indoraptor was climbing on the roof, I heard this music playing in the background, and that got me thinking, holy crap, I really need to search this music up, because it's just phenomenal. This movie did a great job with showing how extremely dangerous this hybrid can be, and this monster clearly takes pleasure in killing and scaring people. And now, now it's time to talk about some things I dislike about the film. Don't worry, guys. Like I said before, I really enjoyed this movie. It's just that, there are a few things that I really don't like. Number 1, I hate how this movie didn't bring back Dilophosaurus. I know some of you guys are going to say, but Joanne, there were hooting sounds in the beginning of the movie with the guy in the yellow raincoat. Yes, that's true and all, but sadly it didn't even pop up from the leaves. We only hear the sounds from it, and we only see a Dilophosaurus model in the Lockwood mansion, and that's pretty much it. I read that Dilophosaurus was going to make a physical appearance in the movie, but ultimately it was cut out. I was already disappointed with that, but then I realized, wait a minute, this dinosaur isn't the only one. I read that Metracanthosaurus, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, was going to make its debut in Fallen Kingdom, but sadly, that didn't happen. Oh, and guess what? Spinosaurus was somehow going to come back in Fallen Kingdom, but that was also cut from the film. I guess you can call that a triple disappointment in terms of adding more dinos, I guess. At least the film didn't add a T-Rex versus Spino rematch thing, but I think this movie could have added a Spino without, having it go up against a T-Rex. And at the end of the movie, I was actually expecting a random Dilophosaurus to pop out of nowhere and spit in Mill's face, but oh well, karma still caught up to him. The second thing I dislike about the movie is that I feel like this movie is holding back on some things. Like, there are some bits and some scenes that could have been better, but the movie pretty much restricted itself and was like, oh no, it's fine, let's just move along now, I'm sure the audience will be fine. Heck, very little is known about the Indoraptor, but I guess we have our own imaginations on what the backstory of this dinosaur was like. And the third and last thing I dislike about the film, I'm not really bothered by a lot of movie cliches, however, there are a few I just can't stand. Sadly, this movie has one cliche I can't stand, and I'll explain what it is. Maisie, the little girl in the movie, finds out that the dinosaurs are going to be sold, so she goes to Lockwood and tries to tell him about it, but Lockwood thinks she was telling a story, doesn't listen to her, and just sends her to bed. What I explained was called the adults refusing to listen to kids cliche. Something bad happens, kid tells an adult doesn't listen. Oh, you're just telling a story. Just run along, go outside, go to bed, go play. You'll be just fine. I'm sorry, guys, but something about that cliche annoys the living crap out of me. I get it. Kids these days can make up stories, but when there's a real problem, then it's time to listen up and not just push kids down just because they're little kids. And now I'll say what my favorite scenes are, and I'll pick out 4. Alright, number 1. I like the scenes where they show Blue and her sisters when they were little babies. It's just really adorable, but man, those clips had me crying. And number 2, I like seeing Stiggy's appearance and watching her go in and just disrupt the auction. You know, she's adorable and really fun to watch, and I really hope to see her come back in Jurassic World 3. And number 3, I can't help but laugh when Owen wakes up from being tranquilized and this huge Sinoceratops, I think that's how you pronounce it, just, crawls over him, just starts licking and slobbering him in the face. That reminds me of during Christmas of 2017, where one of my relatives has a English bulldog that just licked and slobbered my mom in the face a few times. I guess this is what that dog would be like if it were a dinosaur instead of a dog. And number 4, I really like the beginning part where the logo of the movie was animated and how the lava flows, mixed with it. I think that bit was really cool looking to look at, and in my opinion, it is a great way to get the audience ready for the film. Overall, it is not a perfect sequel. It has its flaws, and there are some things that some people don't expect in a Jurassic Park/World film, but regardless, I like it, and I'm hoping to see what will happen next in Jurassic World 3, because the ending to Fallen Kingdom was a bit of a cliffhanger. I don't know what the future holds for the characters, Blue, Rexy, and the other dinosaurs that survived, but I guess all we gotta do is wait. And I really wish there's more Velociraptors, to be honest, because I feel really bad for Blue, for being the only one left. The story has a darker tone. The soundtrack is powerful and emotional. The actors, including Chris Pratt and Jeff Goldblum, did a great job. And there were a lot of intense moments as well. Which, by the way, I really hope more classic Jurassic Park characters return in Jurassic World 3. And that's pretty much it, and those are my thoughts on Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Am I going to make another video like this one? It's a possibility. And it's possible I'll do a video like this one on Jurassic World 3 when it comes out. Which, I really hope this movie won't be depressing like Fallen Kingdom was, but who knows? Thank you guys so much for over 2,400 subscribers, and thank you for listening. And, well, it's going to be 3 more years before the 3rd movie comes out, but oh well. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in another video.